She looks, how to present herself. Because see, a woman can be sexy in sweatpants as well as tight pants. You understand?
Right.
And there's even a level of class to that.
The more it became exterior, the more pressure there was
Yes.
to become better at
Right.
being exterior.
So what you're saying is the pressure is not necessarily from the man looking, but rather it's from women competing with
Yes.
other women.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Hey, what do you think a man needs? And they all said that. They all said they need their ego stroked. They need to know.
Yeah.
All right, so then when they go out and they rebuild themselves, the first thing they do is they build a brick wall. And I mean, from the Three Little Pig story, we know ain't nothing touching that brick wall.
Right.
So like, if you will allow yourself to be, you know, maybe a wood wall,
Yeah.
maybe you could bend a little bit,
Just
or maybe,
open.
and then you could stroke the man's ego
Right.
and all of that.
Or maybe no wall. And my question was, how hard do you think it is for women to be able to break through that wall, wood or otherwise, to be able to ego stroke? Because if a man feels, just like you said in your example of the other event, men have communicated, this is sexy to me. This is what I find sexy. It's all cherry on top,
Right.
all the other stuff, hair, makeup, blah, 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 blah. But you stroke my ego just a little bit, and not in a condescending way or manipulative
Absolutely.
way.
Right.
I'm open. I'm sharing with you
I'm
my
all in
business
now.
plans.
That's
I'm
right.
sharing with you what matters to my
Right.
heart. So if women know this, how hard is it then to provide that, and maybe why do you think they don't?
Okay, I'm gonna go with the why don't.
Yeah.
Because your vulnerability is hard for a woman
It
once
is.
she's learned how to play in the big boys world, once she's learned how to get something on her own. The first thing you do is strip away your femininity to go get it. So of course it's hard to come back and be like, I'm going to be vulnerable now. Now, how you can provide that ego stroke, I am so sorry to say, I'm not in that area to answer that yet.
Right.
But I
Okay.
will be soon.
But-
I'm going to tell you what they
Sure.
said.
She knows.
Well, no. Let's
that's
talk about that
powerful
for a
right there.
minute. Yes,
'Cause-
I love that. But I will ask you this: it sounds like that you have said being able to provide that level of support in a relationship in terms of ego stroke is a point of vulnerability for a woman. Now, to a man, it's sexy, but it's a point of vulnerability to a woman. Why? Why is giving a compliment, because that's essentially what an ego stroke
Absolutely.
is,
Right.
it's complimenting.
Right.
Why do you think giving that compliment means it's a vulnerable place? What do you think prevents that?
Well, for the women that have built the walls and who have got their stuff, I think that the vulnerability comes in the fact of saying, okay, so I need someone to take out the trash, like you said. Well, normally I do it myself, but I want my man to take out the trash. Well, how would I do this at my job? You'd walk up to him and you discuss about taking out the trash. You know, well, I saw last week it wasn't taken on, this week it wasn't taken on, the next week it wasn't taken on. You'd be like, I'm going to fire you from the job for taking out the trash at your job. So honestly, that is how they have decided to deal with the world, the exact same way. But doing that and saying, oh, sweetie, would you mind taking out the trash? You know, I saw that you just missed it last week, something like that. It's admitting that they can't do it. That they need
That's
to give
how it's interpreted.
some
Very
of that
interesting.
power to
Well,
you.
I like
What for?
that. Yeah, well, I like that you shared that because it gives way to the reason why men might not interpret women as sexy, which is why we want to have this dialogue so that women can know what is sexy beyond hair, nails,
Yes.
makeup, all looking good, shape, your what do they call them things? You know, your shaper that defines your body, it
Right.
sucks it all in. You know what I'm talking about.
Body magic.
Body magic, okay, you're feeling me. All right. You know,
waist trainer.
waist trainer, that's what I was looking
Gotcha.
for. Waist trainer, all this outside of that. Giving a compliment is now a place of vulnerability. It's just very interesting to me because I can relate. And the reason why I can relate is because I was in corporate America, long time, big boss lady, all that good stuff. And I remember one time I asked my boss, could I take vacation? I wanted, you know, my family was doing things. I wanted to take vacation. And he looked at me over his glasses and he said, if you have to ask me, can you take vacation? Then you don't need to be here. I'll replace you. And I was like,
wow.
right. I was picking up my face off of the floor.
Wow.
And I was like, all right. So I turned around and came back and I was like, I'm going to take vacation XYZ date. And so we laughed and it was a great moment. However, I was boss at work. When I got home, I was not boss. And so I had to learn
The difference.
how to take that hat off
Yes.
and put it down and still be confident in who I am as a woman and who I am as a wife. And so it does open up a place of vulnerability. This is why I was pushing.
Too.
It is. It's
Yes.
but it's personal development as well.
Absolutely.
You have to know within yourself that you're not less powerful if you have help.
Right.
You're not less
And that's what I was trying to say.
Exactly.
We have to learn the language. You know,
Yes.
there's a body language.
Yes.
There is an outer dialogue that women speak all day long.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you listen to women long enough, they'll tell you what they need, how they need it, and how to present it. You just have to listen.
Right.
And I find as a man, beyond the exterior, when you really get down to the marrow of the bone, a woman will let you know. Just like we know if she's feeling you, if she's not, is it okay? Sometimes it could be very vague, especially if you feel like that woman may be out of your jurisdiction or maybe out of your league. Which once again, I think that that's a personal, inner dialogue that you have to have with yourself as a man. Because just because I look like this, or whatever you may feel I look like, doesn't mean that I deserve her or she or them over there. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we have to continually speak to our own heart. What is that language saying? What is that sex symbol or sexiness saying to me? How do I internalize that? Do I think that I can attain that?
Right.
Is she out of my league?
Does it make me feel less
Is she approachable?
sexy?
Absolutely. You know, is she going to be offended that I've even found her sexy?
Right.
Because some women, I know beautiful women, I mean drop dead gorgeous, that don't feel sexy at all. And they don't have to do much.
Yes.
And then you see people that have a whole lot,
Right.
you know, and it's like, I'm like, baby girl, you don't have it yet.
Right.
But they prance around and they've got their stilettos and whatever it is, and you can't tell them that they're the
Right.
farthest thing from the truth.
Right.
And that's okay too, because they may need all that.
Right.
But it's the language, the
It is
dialogue.
the language. It is the language. So I'm going to flip the script a bit. What do you think makes a man sexy?
What do I think makes
I got
a
all
man
these, Lila.
sexy?
All these. Because I'm here.
In a deeper sense, I'm going to say I love when a man can sit down and chat, really have a communication where they chat. I don't mean like sit down and we're like, we're going to talk about our day. I mean sit down and we can have a heart-to-heart and we can connect. As I said, I spent those year and a half with the guys, and eventually, you know, they just start talking and you're like, oh, this is what guys talk about. And you're
Right.
like, huh, this is totally different from how we would do this.
Right.
So when you know that you've got your woman, that you actually understand that person, then there you go. I love that. That's amazing. Communication
That's
is
awesome.
amazing.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what he has shared is that men need their ego stroked. And so if you find sexy communication and they find sexy ego stroke, how do we meet in the middle as people?
I think we're looking for the same thing. I just think because we speak different, you know, I do know that women are more emotional and men are more egotistical. We meet in the same realm. It's just a flipped in our minds. Most men are not as vocal. But if you pull on them long enough, they will. Or if they feel comfortable, once again.
Really, if they feel comfortable.
Yes. Because they've been hurt too. And see, people dismiss that. They forget because they see us as stout. They see us as caretakers, providers, warriors, you know, all of that, soldiers. We don't have that, and we do. The misconception is that we want to communicate.
Right.
We just don't know how.
Right.
And it may take the ego stroke to open us up, to
Right.
say, wait, okay, you're not going to disrespect me, or
Right.
you're not going to make me feel less than. Because
Right.
some of us, that's the case for
Right.
them.
Right.
So they feel like they have to conquer and subdue.
Right.
And if they don't feel that emotion all the time, you know, because we're going out in the world, we got to fight at the job, we got to fight in the street,
Right.
you jump in the car, you may
Right.
have to fight on the road.
Right.
We don't want to come home and fight,
Right.
or we don't want to be in a relationship fighting.
Right.
So it's like, you say, well, baby, can you take, you know, you got your honey to-do list. And it's like, some men, they feel like that's nagging, or just leave me alone, I want my beer, I want my football, you know what I mean? Whatever, basketball, whatever it is that you do, let me hang with the fellas, because they're not getting all that. It's like, yo, what's up, man, you know?
Right.
It was good, you
Right.
know, get your beer cut, whatever it is,
Right.
boom. But once again, when we learn the dialogue, it's like, oh, it's not that he doesn't know how to, he doesn't want to communicate, he just may not know how.
Right.
So coaching and development, I
Right.
believe, on
Right.
women's parts.
And that's relationship.
It is.
Absolutely.
That's relationship. You take the time to build.
Absolutely.
That's what on both parts.
Yes.
And that is sexy.
Absolutely, because you said relate. relationship.
That's
Take
it.
two.
That's it.
And we relate.
Take
You know,
two.
we learn. That's
I
right.
love
And we
it.
grow.
Yeah, we do.
And yeah, I was just gonna say, like, you know, when you said building something, you recognize when you build, you need nails, you need cement, you're gonna need a ton of different things, and you're not gonna get them all at one store. So you're gonna go around. So you have to go around and take time to know you, take time to know guys, and put that together. And then as you and your man come together, build. That's just something I think.
That's interesting. So let's talk about that for a minute.
Yes.
With dating, so you very much expressed that you believe you can't get everything in one place. So like there's no Home Depot for relationships, is what you're saying. Is
Or
what you're
Lowe's
saying.
or wherever
Or
you go.
Lowe's or Walmart
Right.
or whoever else. So let's talk about that for a minute, because a lot of times with relationship and discovering what sexy is, because really you have to discover that, you have to know you are sexy,
Yes.
and whatever that means before you can project sexy and someone can interpret sexy and the sexy that you want.
Absolutely.
So if you only want someone to interpret the sexy outside of you, then you'll spend a lot of time on the outside of you. But if you want your whole being to be sexy, you have to do that work. You have to go to the store and pick up those materials. So I want to talk about what are some of the things or the materials that women need outside of this stuff, the external. What are some of the materials that women need or can pick up in terms of how to find their sexy?
I think most importantly, what you would need is confidence. You definitely need confidence. He's mentioned it like 1,001 times. And as I said before, one of the times I get talked to or approached the most by people I would actually be interested in having a relationship with is when I'm like got a ponytail and like sweatpants on, and I'm in the store and they come up and they start chatting, and I'm like, why would they do that? And they're like, oh no, it's just like an air that you exude. And I'm like, it's an air I exude? I just was asking someone, it's like, can you explain that to me? What on earth are you talking about? Like when I paint it and I'm like, I'm sitting there and I'm ready, no one ever bothers. So number one is confidence. And then number two is knowing yourself. Oh my goodness, it takes forever to know I feel sorry for you guys because I took like 10 years off just to get to know me.
Yes.
And that's important though.
It is.
That's foundation.
It is.
And you need that.
You do.
You do.
You do need
and
it.
I commend you for that, because most women don't take that time or even know to say that, or, say, hey, let me start with me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's why I feel bad for them, because if it took me 10 years and they speak a different language, you've got a good 20 on your hands. I'm so sorry.
Right.
But that's only from my point of view.
Sure.
After knowing yourself is then knowing what you want to express to the world. I mean, we are huge on branding nowadays. Every millennial knows how to brand. I think in one of your other shows you mentioned Instagram models. Everybody knows how to do this.
Right.
So you need to think about emotionally, spiritually, mentally, what do I want to put on the table in front with my advertisement to other people? Right. And I think those three actually can give you an amazing sexiness.
I love that. Last question.
Okay.
Last question is whether or not your sexiness as a woman and the flip for a man, your sexiness changes based on who approaches you from outside of your race. So a lot of times you'll find the ideal man, or what women think an ideal man wants, is something that's light, is something with long flowing Rapunzel hair, and is something that looks like Barbie, although if Barbie were real, she'd have to walk on all fours because her measurements are that disproportioned. So this is what they think a woman looks like for a black woman. If a white male or anyone outside that's not your race approaches you, does that change whether or not you believe they think you're sexy? Or does that change your interpretation of what sexiness is? Does it empower you? Does it make you feel, what are your thoughts on that? What does it make you feel?
Oh, let me go. If a man outside of the race actually does approach me, first and foremost, it's like, ooh, my beauty attracts more than one race.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Sorry, let me be serious now. No, when someone does come and they are interested, it makes you think about, first and foremost, how did they come to you? Because sometimes people from other races can come out of curiosity, and that's not going to last long. Sometimes people can come because they're interested in dating an African-American woman, and that's not going to last long. So why did this person approach you? And that takes more than 1 or 2 conversations. So I'm going to say if someone approaches you from outside of the race, a 3 conversation minimum. to try to figure this out and then proceed. Unless, of course, you just want to date someone outside of their race, then go for it.
Right.
You know, doesn't really matter.
Don't look at them as just a person who's interested in you. Really dissect why they're in your life. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Very interesting.
I think people are going to be people as well. You know, my take is like, whoever wants to love me, I'm open, right? But then I find myself with raised values and what I was conditioned. And it's like, okay, well, let me see if a white woman wants to date me. You know, I go down this mental checklist.
Yes.
You know, and I find a sister behind that. And it's like, I love my beautiful black woman. Not to say that there's anything wrong with white women or another race.
No.
But once again, I have to filter, do they want me because they've heard about, you know, my size shoe is a 13. Right. They want to find out, you know, is it really true? Right. You know what I'm saying? Come on, let's be real.
Yes.
Or is it different for a white woman to love a black man? You know, because then I have family members who have went outside their race and married. And they've all been messed up.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I'm not OJ over here. However, in the same token, they realized that what they were looking for, because they were so hurt, it wasn't different. It just was the same spirit, a different face, you know? So the skin color didn't mean anything different. But for me, I said, I need who was going to love me, who was going to be true to me. You know, now when I think about it, I do think about, are my children going to be messed up because they're going to be confused because the light skin, because black people have it hard as it is, you know, because some of them already have self-hatred because of, you know, social media and what, you know, propaganda has portrayed, you know, and we are beautiful people. Once again, you're taking your woundedness and saying, I'm going to group this group into one pot and say they don't want me because of my self-esteem issues. Right. And I say go for who you love. But at the end of the day, the model of the women that I've constructed in my head, you know, she's like a sister. She may, you know, it ain't Becky with the kids.
What is with the smell? Because the woman I meet, and they're like, does she smell good? I'm like, is she hot and does she smell good? But why is that number two?
I think our animalistic, you know, there's pheromones. It's beyond perfume that you put on. That's why a woman has a period. That's why if you put the two together, the men will actually get aroused, and, you know, sexy time starts getting more and more frequent around that time. And then you kind of, you know, you dispel and you kind of bring it towards you. And we forget about that. You know, that we are in that hierarchy of the animal kingdom. So smells have a lot to do, because if you got the funky monkey, it'll be like, oh wow, you know, smell your hair, smell, you know what I'm saying? Right. And then some people, they like that, hot and sweaty, that's the way to go. There's parts of Africa, if you don't have, you know, Wolfman Jack on your legs, they don't want you. You know, you may smell a little tart, and you can get it, you know. That's not how I roll. You know, let it be fresh. You know, even if you just wash that once a week or something.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying?
I so appreciate. I am very much appreciative of both of your feedback concerning what makes a woman sexy. Thank you so much. And to our viewing audience, I just have one word of advice for you, and that is to know what sexiness is for you so that you can then attract that, so you can project that and then attract that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching this special episode on what makes a woman sexy. At this time, I want to give our guests an opportunity to share with you where they can be found. Wilnona?
Yolanda, it was such a pleasure to be here and to be here with him.
We enjoyed you.
Right. Glad to have you.
My name is Wilnona Marie, and I am the co-host, co-author, and co-founder of the And I Thought Ladies. You can find any information about the ladies and their programs at www.andwethought.com. You can also support our domestic abuse program by going to www.scarletrblack.com.
And Rossano?
Yolanda, your show is amazing.
Thank you.
You're definitely spectacular.
Thank you so much.
My name is Rossano Case. I'm a chef. You can reach me at Instagram, Chef Rossano, which is CHEFROSSANO. Also at Facebook, which is my whole name, Rossano, ROSSANOECASEJR. Thank you for having me once again.
Outstanding. Well, thank you again for joining Grown Women Real Talk, and we will see you again next week.